Welcome back to the Herbal Intelligence Podcast. I'm Daniel.
I'm Daphne, and we are so happy to have you here with us today.
So today we're going to be talking about allergies, histamine, and anxiety, and the anxiety food connection. So I used to get chronic headaches. They they would come unbeknownst to me. They would just seem to just happen whenever, and really didn't know why or how. But they'd be incapacitating. I mean, these would be nasty migraines. These seem to be coming out of nowhere. And one of the suggestions that I got back for this was just pop a pill. It was like, okay, how does that help? And then before you know it, it was two pills, whether it was acetaminophen or ibuprofen, and it worked for a while, and then it wouldn't. And so what do? You up the dose, and then you start feeling like digestion issues, like you can't take it on an empty stomach. So really, what do you do with that? So started to do some research on my own, and started to find out just a little bit, like if I have too much caffeine. I work up myself to having a cup every day, 2 cups every day. Before you know it, you're having a whole pot of coffee. So caffeine definitely seemed to be one of those triggers. So
Actually, I remember when I started having caffeine, I started getting those, it's like a headache. You made an appointment with it. You have those like seasonal headaches, and you find that once you stop, you get a mega headache, and then you want to go back to it, and then afterwards you sink back into the routine of getting headaches.
yep. So with these headaches, occasional like skin flare ups, or racing thoughts, a little bit of the
The
anxiety.
guitars.
Yeah. Even eating so-called healthy foods, like tomato, spinach, um, or even chamomile for some people. Like I didn't realize that foods that are histamine rich um, could actually cause other issues within the system, and it could just do with like a histamine intolerance, or just like if you're going through like anxiety or stress. The issues by eating these certain type of vegetables that are high in histamine um, can cause all kinds of issues. Could be even a mild allergic reaction. It really depends. Even if you're not like directly allergic to these sort of things.
And what are some of those vegetables that are high in histamine?
Yeah, so that would be like your tomatoes, your spinach, white potatoes, surprisingly enough, but sweet potatoes are fine. Um, I believe as well the nightshade vegetables, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But with this, I thought I had food sensitivities or gut issues, but it's actually just the body's inability to break down histamine. So what does this do? So it caused more anxiety, more inflammation,
Indigestion.
and it's just a self feeding issue, because the more um, indigestion you have, and the more inflammation you have, it makes the symptoms of eating those things even worse. Like one thing for me is also dairy. I've been always lactose intolerant for as long as I can remember, but it inflames the sinuses. So I used to think it was just seasonal allergies, but that's exacerbated by the fact of having dairy, and then you have a histamine rich foods. You think you're eating a salad, and you have cheese on it, and you have the tomatoes, and before you know it, like spinach, before you know it, you can't breathe out of either nostril because you're so inflamed. And I think like tomatoes and dairy, I think they're kind of sneaky, but also realizing that it's not, doesn't affect everyone in the same way. So um, I don't I don't really want you guys getting the wrong impression about histamine. So it's a natural chemical. That's involved in your immune response. Does the digestion as well as brain function. It's not bad, but too much of it, um, and having a poor ability to break it down, it can cause problems. One of the other things that I'll bring up here is DAO, or diamine oxidase. So this is an enzyme that breaks down histamine in the gut. So if you have low DAO activity, histamine builds up, and you might feel flushed, itchy, anxious, bloated, or even have insomnia. Now this is interesting with the coffee and the caffeine. So the coffee and the caffeine actually blocks this DAO, this enzyme, from being produced naturally. So you may want to supplement with this. Now, and some of the research says not to take DAO supplements too much, but it's just like a temporary relief thing. Like you eating a bunch of tomatoes or have a bunch of sauce or whatever, or drinking a bunch of coffee. So probably would suggest cutting back. I had to go cold turkey from it because it was just too much anxiety, but um, definitely cut back. I mean, a little moderation, a little temperance, just won't hurt anybody. Now you may you may bring up a question like, how do we get DAO enzyme? So like, let's say I wanted to eat some other kind of vegetables or some herbs, and I didn't want to take the supplement. Well, the a common form of DAO is actually the pea sprout. I believe it is. So have your peas if you don't want to take the pills. But it kind of smells like pea soup, to be honest. If you ever smelled the capsule, but I'm sure it can be made with other things and not just the form that I buy and I use myself. So as I mentioned, that this isn't a true allergy, and in the strictest sense, it's just an intolerance. So it's based on your body's threshold. Histamine is in a lot of healthy foods. It's mostly in your fermented foods, also in avocados and spinach and strawberries and citrus and tomatoes. Getting to the next part. So the studies. So let's take a look at the studies. There was a study published in 2021, so recently, in Nutrients, that reviewed histamine intolerance symptoms and found that low DAO levels are correlated with gastrointestinal, neurological, and dermatological symptoms. So you're talking about your gut, you're talking about your brain, and you're talking about your skin.
And actually, like anything that's going to happen starts from your gut. So if you're not giving your body what it's supposed to have, that means it's going to respond to you in forms of allergies.
Yeah, just how your gut communicates with your body when it's hungry. You get the tummy rumble, you're craving something.
Does the histamine cause bloating?
It can, with the response. If you have a low tolerance for it,
Yeah.
it can cause all of your regular allergy symptoms. Itchy, scratchy, inflammation, but as well as your bloating, your gas. But that's mostly in terms of like inflammation.
Yeah, yeah. And how about the allergies through your nasal cavity?
Yeah. Again, I would say with the inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. If your sinuses are constantly being inflamed, you're more prone to getting sinus issues, breathing issues, maybe even like sinus infection. So you definitely want to drink a lot of water, stay hydrated. You're having your peppermint herbs.
Yeah, the stinging nettle.
Stinging nettle
Yeah,
also helps.
it's the antihistamine
Yeah, something
herb.
something recently that I found out was thyme, the herb. Just adding that to your loose leaf tea, or consuming it in your diet, putting it on eggs in the morning. That really helps with the um, congestion and the antihistamine. It's perfect for the morning. I've started to incorporate that in my daily diet just recently, but I would say I'm doing it every day now.
Yeah, do you remember in March when I had the allergies and I have that itchy nose and the mucus drilling out? And you made me that tea. Was it with the allergy tea with the stinging nettle in it?
Yes.
And I was able to sleep through the night. I That was my first time getting like a bad allergy.
Yeah, and then that tea blend that she's talking about. So that one had your blue vervain, it had your stinging nettle, and it had your chamomile, your lemon balm. I believe also garlic, and then I
It
also
is not that one.
not no garlic, but
Yeah,
I did add the
yeah,
thyme and,
yeah,
and, and a little honey for
yeah.
soothing all the symptoms that you were feeling at the time.
Yeah.
So we have one more study that we'd like to share. So this one was published in 2007 in the World Journal of Gastroenterology, and it confirmed that people with IBS-like symptoms but no clear diagnosis benefit from a low histamine diet. And this is mostly because it reduces the inflammatory triggers and improves the gut barrier integrity.
Yeah, do you know that some of the symptoms of IBS would be, bloating, pain before after food, and then some people just have to be running to the bathroom, going number two, just because they just ate something. So I think having a low histamine diet, like someone with IBS could benefit from it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's talk herbs. So we mentioned stinging nettle. So this is your natural antihistamine, and it supports the inflammation response. Quercetin-rich herbs. So these are your elderflower, your elderberry. These stabilize the mast cells.
Mm-hmm.
Ginger, one of your favorites.
Yes.
Anti-inflammatory, and it's gentle on the gut. One of my favorites is turmeric. Reduces the histamine release from these mast cells, and holy basil, tussi, which is adaptogenic and calming. Now, some herbs that may work for you, but they don't work for everyone. That's chamomile, peppermint, green tea, and lemon balm. Some people are very sensitive to these things. We've come across people who are, oh, I'm allergic to chamomile, so they can't have it. So just keeping in mind that there are alternatives, and you do need to keep a journal of things that make you feel better or make you feel worse. I mean, you may love tomatoes. It may not affect you. Some people it causes inflammation with them if they have too much histamine and they can't process it. An alternative to that is to taking your DAO digestive enzymes. But myself with the lactose intolerance taking the lactase supplements. So there are options, and don't feel limited just by having the ability or the intolerance for one particular herbs. There are many fruits in the basket, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's not what good is herb, what herb is bad. It's more like what can my body tolerate.
Yes, and absorption is very important. By the way, I also mentioned this when you're making your tea, it's always good for the absorption to use it with the filtered water, because the one that's the hard water, right?
Mm-hmm.
It will affect the taste and also limit the absorption. So that's really very important.
Yeah, especially if you're taking tap water and it has a concentration of chlorine. Chlorine does affect the absorption of other herbs. I don't have the study in front of me, but I do believe it blocks like iodine and a few other things. So you're gonna want to have as pure as pure of a water source as possible when you're making your teas. If you're taking your teas outside of like food, like if you're taking herbs for diabetes or blood sugar balance, you want to take those 20 minutes before or after you're eating a meal. But just teas in general that you want to take outside of meals, you're going to want to use some kind of the water that has the nutrients in it. Trying to think of the word right now. Alkaline water. That's
alkaline water.
So yeah. Yes. So you're going to want to take the alkaline water with that, but you do not want to take that during your meal. So remember, regular water during your meal, spring water, distilled water. But I would try to stay away from any kind of chlorinated tap water if at all possible. So let's talk about food. So the ultra processed food, we talk about those great fast food burgers or chickens, pizza, calling me out here. So we know that they taste amazing and they taste good, and don't you just want to crave that second helping of cheesecake?
Yeah.
But these are also high in preservatives and dyes and emulsifiers. They spike inflammation and damage the gut lining. So what do you think that they do when you're having all these synthetic additives to your food. What do you think is doing to your body? That's your body itself, which is natural and organic and knows what's good. So what do you think happens when we put all this?
Of course, the body is going to struggle process everything. And remember, they are also adding things to make it taste really good and addictive.
Mm.
You want something, you feel you want to go every single day. And instead of going every single day to a fast food or giving something to your body that it doesn't need, go heavy on a clean diet, do it every single day and go heavy on having that, cup of tea for anti-inflammation or for your clean diet to help you with balancing your gut. So they will do all that and it will affect your body.
Yep, and it takes your body so much longer. Just logically thinking about this, this wasn't a study, but just logically thinking about this, it takes your body so much longer to process synthetic and artificial foods or ultra processed foods. So you can think of like the intestines, especially the small intestine, where your body, that's how your body's getting all the nutrients. So your stomach breaks down the food just into smaller pieces after it's chewed, and it goes through the system. And the reason why your small intestine is so long is, I think I heard somewhere it's like 40 feet, so it's really long. But as it's going through this whole process, your body is getting all the nutrients it can out of that. But if you have inflammation and you're eating these foods that cause high inflammation, the gut's unable to communicate with the brain and the rest of the body about what you need. So if it's not getting the nutrients, it's basically firing on all the cylinders like, I need this, I need this, I need this, and it's not getting it. So I have too much of this. Imagine that communication system just being shut off completely because all your body's doing is fighting inflammation at this point. So we know your gut and your brain are directly connected. We know that the histamine can break and can pass the blood-brain barrier and activate anxiety pathways. So imagine eating a food, having no regrets, but this ultra processed food is actually hurting your body more than it's helping, and your brain is figuratively screaming for nutrients because it's being starved out by all these things that it can't even use, but yet it needs to devote resources to digest this stuff further down so it can be processed through your system. That just sounds like a net loss of nutrients, net loss of all the calories to take in your body to process this stuff. If it can't use it, and your body can't use it and it can't digest it, what does it do? What does it do with it? Stores it as body fat.
And also it helps with creating the inflammation. Yeah. So you don't want that.
Yep. So your body's got to do something with it, and it doesn't always all come out. So some tips that people can try. So trying a low histamine diet. Try it for like a week. See how you feel. Mm-hmm. We mentioned the no tomatoes, no spinach, no white potatoes. But you can really try, and then also look at like DAO blocking foods. So these would be your coffee or caffeine. These would be your even chocolate. Like surprisingly, chocolate also could be something that you also avoid during this low histamine week. Avoid or reduce fermented foods. So I know you're going to want that kombucha, but you can't
the have sourdough too.
Sourdough as well.
Yeah.
So anything fermented foods, avoid the leftovers, avoid high histamine foods. May also want to avoid yeast during this time. Yeast is also used in a lot of fermented foods. So you may or may not have a reaction to it, but if you avoid it, then you know for sure that it's something that's causing it. So how can we increase the DAO naturally? So look for DAO-supporting nutrients. So your vitamin C, your B6, your magnesium. One of the things that I found tremendously helps with the not the inflammation, the anxiety and the stress is just taking magnesium, and look for a good type of magnesium. I realized that taking magnesium, is it oxidase?
It helps with the oxidative stress.
So the issue with that though is that it doesn't have a lot of elemental magnesium in it. You take a 500 milligram of that, and it maybe 12 to 50 milligrams of that is actually usable by the body. So you want to switch to something like magnesium, like glycinate or something that really helps with absorption, because it is high absorption, gentle on the gut, but also you have more elemental magnesium, something like that. So if you took 100 um, milligrams of that, you're probably going to use, your body's actually probably going to be able to use like 90% of that, so 90 milligrams. So even though it's 100 milligrams and you're used to taking 500, but only maybe 12 to 50 of the 500 is actually usable because it's the wrong form, you're taking the magnesium glycinate, and now all of a sudden 100 milligrams, you're getting almost all that in your system, and you're going to find your mood picks up almost right away with that. You're gonna feel great. You're gonna have energy. First time I took it, I took 200 milligrams of that, and I wanted to nap right away. It was so relaxing and so comforting, but I didn't realize how depleted I actually was of this. So magnesium is just one of those things that's very important. I mean, it's used in hundreds of bodily functions. Your different hormones, the stress response, just so many of them. I wish I had an exact number for you, but I know it's in the hundreds. So just your
Yeah.
body needs magnesium for everything. So
Every cell in your body uses magnesium.
yeah, so consider these DAO supporting nutrients. And something that I do and I recommend everyone does is to keep a symptom and a food journal and a mood diary all together. So this is what I ate for breakfast. This is what I had for snack. This is how I was feeling, or I was feeling anxious, so I had a snack. You may find that it's the sugar crashes that are causing the anxiety. So you may want to keep a level glucose number throughout the day, or have your carbs and your sweets after you've actually had your meal, so as like a dessert, which will help reduce those glucose spikes. So just keeping a track of everything, how you're feeling, what you're eating, what you're doing with your with your diet, and just keeping track of all this, you'll be amazed looking back, be like, oh, I had a migraine headache, for example, and I found out one of the triggers for my migraines was MSG, which is a common food enhancer. It's in some steaks. It's in like ramen noodles, which I like. It's in a lot of soups. Just from prepack. It's in a lot of prepackaged, also processed foods as well. So you want to keep track of these things so that you're learning about your body in this discovery of this wellness journey. Discovery. It's a discovery about yourself. It's a discovery about everything that you have going on in your relationship into food and others and your environment. You may find out that you have a stressful job, or you have a stressful situation that you're currently in, but it's actually something that's manageable, and you love the situation you're in. It's just made worse, so much worse, because um, the mood is actually being affected by what you're eating. And if you're not eating healthy, that mood kind of just seeps over into all aspects of your life. I can tell you too, like um, if you don't feel like doing something, you're probably not going to do it. If you're eating a food and it's making you really um, agitated and irritable, would you want to be around that person?
No.
No, probably not. So look for patterns. Is it worse with stress? Is it caused by a specific meal? Having meals also at a particular time, like same time every day. You don't have to do what I do, but I like to have a meal at like 8, wait 4 hours to noon, eat at noon, have 4 hours, eat at 4 again, and then not eat until the following day. You don't have to eat it like that, but I find eating within an 8-hour window, having the rest of the time for the body to focus on healing itself, having the anti-inflammatory tea, pick some turmeric, pick some black pepper, pick something up, into the evening hours, so that your body can focus on healing itself, and the anti-inflammatory, so that you can heal during the night, and then during the day you can focus on yourself and doing the stress reducing routine of your daily life. So to close today's episode, you may have been told that it's just in your head, or your gut or your skin says otherwise.
You're overthinking it.
Yes. um, this can feel overwhelming. But the more you understand about your body, and I just want to make sure that this is important, the more you understand, the more empowered you're all going to feel and supported by your decisions to keep your journal, to keep your we're not saying change your diet drastically. We're just saying watch it, see where it goes.
And also what your body wants. If you try something and your body is not speaking to you, or your body is telling you, no, we don't like this, so you change it up until you find what works for your body.
Yep. So if this episode resonated with you, drop a comment or tag us on socials. Let us know where you're at in your journey. Until next time, thanks for listening to the Herbal Intelligence Podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you next time.
Thank you.